Hey, Todd.
Hi, James.
Okay, we should be live now.
Yep, it's live.
Okay, let me hop in the chat and ask somebody. Has anyone arrived yet? There are 19 people here.
Yep, 20 going up. There we go.
Hey, somebody hop in the chat if you can hear me and just let me know that you can hear me. Ah, great. They can hear me. So I'll go ahead and get started. Thank you, Todd.
Yep.
You're welcome to hang around if you like. Hey, guys, thanks for watching that. I'd like to apologize for the chaos at the beginning. The Excel events platform doesn't seem to be serving us well this year. That was supposed to autoplay at 2 o'clock. It appears it did, but apparently didn't go out automatically to everyone, including myself. So I don't know what happened there. I hope everyone enjoyed that. I will note that there were far fewer questions this year than my previous build videos. And I attribute that to everybody mastering the skills they need to build models at this level. So that's great. I think one thing I got to mention, years ago when this model came out, I was part of a massive build thread on the rocketry forum that George Gassaway and I started. And further along into that build thread, John Persley hopped in and offered a lot of his wisdom. And I just want to say that how much I really miss both George and John, and I'm sure many of you feel the same. Those two people are probably more responsible than anyone else for sending me down this scale building rat hole, okay? So I either blame them or credit them for the modeler I've become. So many thanks to both George and John. I see some questions popping up and I will get into those. One thing I do want to mention, I don't care how old you are, use magnification when you build. I didn't start using magnification until about a decade ago. And it really, really does make a difference. I've reached the point in my life where I need this. If I'd started using magnification when I was 25, I can only begin to imagine the models I might have turned out. So please, these are cheap. That's $30 on Amazon. Jennifer mentioned the shock towels a couple of times. Yes, I use shock towels all the time just because I don't want to mess up my models. There's a point in any build where things start to get, the potential for damage increases, hanger rash. Any pilot will tell you that the greatest threat to an aircraft is when it's in the hangar. Somebody will screw it up and disappear, and you're left with a broken airplane. So absolutely, use one of these to build on or support models once they're painted. So let's go through some of these questions here. Somebody asked about fabric tack glue. No, I have not tried fabric tack. Contains acetone. Wow. I can try it. I like epoxy for dissimilar materials, and I like it more than anything because it's a dimensionally stable adhesive. In other words, it doesn't expand or contract. If you were to, here, let me grab this real quick. If I was to use, say, CA glue to put the engine mount in, there might be a pucker. And almost certainly there would be a pucker on the airframe tube. So I don't use CAs a lot. Again, for dissimilar materials, epoxy is my go-to material. Hey, let me show you this real quick. I mentioned that rocketry forum thread. This is a little display stand that this guy named Daniel Caventer drew up in Illustrator, CAD, or something like that, and it was set up to be cut from 1/4-inch plywood, and it's perfect for the little Joe. I put a PDF of that file in Excel events here, but Excel events will probably crash when somebody tries to access it. So let's see what we've got here. Gasaway reinforced his fins, but you didn't. I almost put that in the video. Both John Persley and George Gasaway put spars in the fins going into the model. As a, kind of a philosophical difference between George and I want that fin to snap off if it's under that much pressure. I can always use more epoxy to put it back on, and chances are it's going to pop right off undamaged, and I can put it back on easily. If that spar is going through there, there's a good chance that that spar could snap internal structure or tear the tube or other things we don't want to have happen. So it's a decision. Chris, who should be doing videos like this himself, said, I appreciate your tip on cutting up large decals. Yeah, if you want to have a bad day, try to put a large decal on a model. Were you a plastic model builder? Yeah, I am. I build plastic models as well. So let's see, what else? More questions, guys. I notice you don't seem concerned with using epoxy or plastruct weld on painted surfaces. My experience is they usually eat through the paint to the underlying material. Okay. The bifurcated chat and Q&A sessions are a mess here. Dorfler recommended using a tack cloth. He's forgotten more than I'll ever know. I have not had problems with it. No issue with epoxy over the paint? No, none. What's the best motor? This flies great on a D12-3 for me. I answered the question about being a plastic model builder. What was the purpose of the needle eye tool? The needle eye tool is for picking up a single drop of CA glue and placing it where you need it. A hobby shop will sell you one for $10. You can take a sewing needle, chop off half the eye of the sewing needle, polish it off a little bit, and make your own. Will the entire video be posted? The answer to that is yes. I'm going to put that up on my YouTube channel tomorrow. Look for rocket.arrow on YouTube. Vince asks, you deviate often from the assemble paint decal order. How do you know when to do what? There's really no simple answer to that. I like to get a component as complete as possible before I start adding other components to it. I find it's much easier to decal things and paint details if large assemblies are separate. Does that make sense? And I know that's kind of a vague answer, but it's the best I can do. It's just one of those things. It's a house style. Looking for more questions. Okay, what's the difference between the glue used to glue the fin halves together and the glue used on the tower? It's a great question. They are very, very similar glues. The Tamiya glue is not as aggressive as the Plastruct plastic weld. I suspect both are what are called MEK derivatives, methyl ethyl ketone. I'm not a chemist. It's a chemical known to melt styrene plastic. I think the Tamiya has been denatured a little bit so that it's not quite as aggressive. When you build the tower, you want those little joints to melt pretty aggressively and bond to each other. As we wait for more questions to come in. I'm going to bring this in. Somebody asked, are you a scale modeler? Are you a plastic modeler? And the answer is yes. I use primarily plastic modeling techniques as opposed to model rocketry techniques. I know how to build an alpha, but when I go deep down a rabbit hole, I'm using scale modeling techniques from the plastic model world. And this is the Estes Maxi Brute X-Wing fighter using about 90 different molded components that have been added on. This took me 3.5 years intermittently, about 450 hours over 3.5 years. Maybe if we get a platform better than Excel events, I'll do something on how this got done for next year. This is all plastic modeling technique right here. And again, like the little Joe we just did, it's all Tamiya products again. I get asked, why do you use so many Tamiya products? And the answer is they always work. They work exceptionally well. And the other thing is that I get asked about the Tamiya products is, well, those are so expensive. Well, how expensive is it when you lose hours of your time because some cheap-ass Rust-Oleum product went wrong on you? So your time is valuable, and you need to honor your time and your purchase of a good quality kit by using the best products you possibly can to assemble and paint that kit. Let's see, what else do we have here? Do you ever do PMC products? I'll tell you a dirty secret. The V2 kit that I designed and sell, spacemonkeymodels.com, was designed from the ground up as a plastic model that could be made to fly. So that's another whole session, Bill. Bill Dauphin, everybody, town council member in Connecticut. Congratulations, Bill. Why use red 3mm tape instead of Tamiya 3mm tape? I could get it from Amazon overnight, was the reason I got that selection of tapes. Let's see what else we have. The little Joe looks fragile after assembly. How much have you flown it? This one, not at all. I built an identical model back in 2016 as part of the Rocketry Forum thread. I flew that twice. It was not particularly fragile. I had no problems. I lost a fin one flight and epoxied it back on. That model got repurposed. I don't have it anymore. It's gone to a different home. So I hope that person is enjoying it. What else have we got, guys? I'm looking for more questions here. Let me hop back to the chat. Major shout out to John Boren, who designed this model. I'm not going to say he redesigned it. He used some of the parts from the old Centauri kit and built a completely new kit around it. Okay, that brings us to the top of the hour, guys. Jennifer asked a question that I also got from Ed LaCroix. On top of the products you use, can you do a list of the tools as well? That would be a very comprehensive list. I've got a rolling cart here filled with hundreds of different tools that I use. I will try to assemble some sort of listing of the tools that I use. That's a good idea, and I need to do it. So Jeff Fisher asks, I think your video will help when Estes brings back the Saturn V back soon. My next big build video will probably be the Saturn V, guys. Did you clear coat it? Generally, no. I never flat coat anything. The X-Wing fighter, for instance, was covered with a satin coat, which isn't strictly authentic. I don't like satin coats on model rockets because they attract grime and dirt. In your infinite spare time, yes. Smart ass. Okay, let's go see some more sessions, guys. Again, I'll put this video up on my personal channel on YouTube. Look for rocket.aero, rocket period arrow, AERO on YouTube, and it'll be there sometime tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Take care.